Hello, everybody, and welcome back to The Men's Couch, a show about men's mental health. I'm Alex Hennon.
This is Angie.
Kenny.
I'm Sam.
Meet Dimitri.
Micah.
And welcome back. And we are back once again. And don't forget to check us out on Instagram at Men's Couch. Micah, take it away.
Okay, so the inspiration for this topic comes from the author Keith Edwards in his book Unmasking. And he talks about the research that he's done and the interviews that he's done with he interviewed, I think, male students or just men. I think they were college age, but I'm not entirely sure. But the book basically is about how people or men feel like they need to hide certain parts of themselves based on the way that we're socialized. We're socialized to have masks, whether it be like the tough guy or the smart. What's the static? Oh, the smart guy, or like any of those masks. We feel like we kind of need to like adopt because of that. I'm gonna kind of like read a quote. So he says, we sacrifice our authenticity by pretending to be something that we are not to fit in in the man box. What do you think about that? So it says we sacrifice our authenticity by pretending to be something we are not to fit in the man box. What do you think of that?
I mean, it goes with the whole mask.
Yeah, what do you think about the quote? Do you want me to like read it again?
Read it again.
Okay. So it says, we sacrifice our authenticity by pretending to be something we are not to fit in the man box. Do you want to just like the full
No, actually,
there.
I really like it. I like it because there's like the box of manhood.
Yeah.
That every checkbox you have to be a man.
Yeah, kind of like at like our first episode, we kind of like talked about that, about like the checklist and all those things that we think make us like qualify as a guy, but is actually can be limiting. Do you have something to say?
Oh no, I was
But can be limiting. So, in order to check off those boxes, we sacrifice what like our own authentic self. So like an example that he gave is that some of his clients or people that he interviewed, they they would change their music when their friends were around. So if they listen to maybe like pop music, they would change it to like hip hop or something to make themselves seem more like masculine. So they would change when because they're like afraid of that like rejection. They would like change around their peers because of that, like that's part of like the man box. So that's like one of the examples, but there's like many ways that people can do it. I kind of didn't like it's really interesting. I really like the book so far, and I'm supposed to meet the author soon. I think we're meeting on Friday, so I'm excited to meet with him.
Awesome.
Yeah, so Keith Edwards, he's really good.
Shout out.
So I'm gonna meet with the author. Please don't do that. So what are everyone's thoughts, or do you want me to like elaborate more about it?
No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, like, are we going in a circle?
Who
I
wants to
think
start
we should
first?
just- Whoever wants to.
Do you want to go first?
Okay.
Okay.
How funny. God. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know what you're saying. I feel like we can all relate to like. I feel like I don't even do this as much actually. Like your example of like changing, like you're basically changing something about yourself when you're around certain people. I feel like it's different here. Like I don't know. At least with people that I've met, I feel like I'm the same person. But what I will say is like an example I can think about where I did do that. I feel like actually like in my first relationship I did that. Like I feel like I wasn't fake, but I feel like
What?
I associate the word fake with like what you're saying.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. That's like what I associate with the word fake. But I feel like I don't think it costed anything. It's just more of like a retrospect thing. I think to myself, I always think I was like, I'm like gonna change my whole demeanor around someone just to like.
Oh yeah, because you're like you want to like make sure you're like seeming that.
Yeah,
way.
I was like.
How people perceive.
Yeah,
you
there
is
was like.
very
Yeah, there was a
important.
lot of mistakes during that, but I feel like in the end, like the outcome of it helped me like grow a lot actually, because
Yeah.
in that sense, but in other senses as well. But like it's more of just the thing that I think about. I'm like,
Did you read it?
I didn't read that. Should I read it?
I think it would be better to like read it.
I don't have like dead. Okay, fine. Okay, we're just gonna have like no audio, I guess, for a second.
No, someone else can like. Does anyone else have anything?
Yeah, I can talk about the maths of masculinity for a second here. There is an innate human need to be liked, and masks are one of the pitfalls that we often turn to when we try to fill that desire to be liked. And masks can be really dangerous because you have your real self and then you have your ideal self, your facade that you're putting on for those other people at that mask.
Yeah.
And the more and more you put on that mask, the more and more you start to lose yourself and you blend that ideal and that real self together. And that can be really dangerous. So it's important to separate ourselves from the mask and try to be as authentic and true to ourselves as possible, no matter who the person is that we're with.
So,
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
so yeah, just trying to get up to the mic here.
That was good.
So,
I know, it was really good. Yeah.
I got some thoughts on this too. So, how one would want to change themselves? It really comes from a ton of different things. There's jealousy. There's the environment that they're living in. Like some of you guys said, the people that they're surrounded by. I would say, hey, that trying to change yourself isn't like. I would say it's not really a good thing, but then again it's not really bad either. Like, I mean, if you want to be someone else, I would say, hey, that's bad. If you want to become more than what you already are, I would say, hey, that's good, because I mean, we really shouldn't change ourselves to just like become someone else or become something else. We should try to like. What I'm saying here is we should try to move ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
'Cause there have been times when I would want to change myself because of someone else that I've seen. Oh wow, he's taller than me. Oh wow, he's smarter than me. But like, as I go to people who I know, and tell them that problem, I get, you're fine just the way you are. You should be the way you are.
So yeah, it seems like with the problem that we kind of like were talking about is, did I read the full quote? But it doesn't make sense. But it doesn't matter. So what he's saying, what the author is saying is that we're like kind of rejecting parts of ourselves to fit into the man box and to fit into like all of those expectations of like trying to be make ourselves look, I guess, tough or man enough. I don't see. It's a little harder for me to. I would say it's a little harder for me because I'm not like stereotypically masculine, if you would say. I'm not like I don't know. I'm not like. I'm not what you would think of. Like, I'm not the first person that you think of as like, oh, that's a guy. If that makes sense. Yeah. So I would say that. But it's like, so I think one of like another example is I have like a passion for like musicals, and if I were to like, so like maybe a like masking thing is I don't share that passion with my friends because like I'm afraid that they'll think that it's like too maybe like girly or something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like what I'm trying to say. I don't like gonna like confuse anyone, but
No.
that's kind of what like the author says, and it's really cool of how he says that he said he knows that it's not men and boys' true nature, but how we are socialized to be. It says men have so much more to offer as our authentic selves than these masks allow. So I think with that being said, he's basically saying that we limit ourselves with the by going in like the man box. If that makes sense. So, and I think like to what I want to say here is like I don't want people to think, well, oh, like it's not like saying, okay, everything about like what we've been socialized is bad. It's just some of the things can be limiting to our own authentic selves. Yeah.
So Angie, I know. So I know you are kind of outside the box when it comes to this subject.
I
But-
think I'd like to contradict that statement. I think.
I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
What I mean is, I would like to hear your thoughts as someone who is a woman on this subject, because
Okay.
I am overall curious.
Yeah, I think that the idea that masking is, I think if there's anything that we can agree on, it's that both genders have that situation with different aspects of themselves. There's, I guess, emotional kind of standards for women, and there's emotional standards for men. There's all sorts of standards for both genders. I do think that masking is kind of a universal thing, though, because I feel like you said you said that if someone looked at you, like, they wouldn't see like a stereotypical man.
Yeah. So
And I think, sorry, you can.
yeah, I was saying, so like basically I'm like kind of outside. I guess I'll say outside the norm. Like, you know how Gary kind of said that like earlier today. Like he said, you're like, authentic, and I kind of like, that's like kind of what I
We
want.
always
to,
reference him.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want to like exude is that I'm not like I'm not like a. What are you doing?
Sorry, I don't know what it does.
Because that turns us off.
My fault.
So I'm not like that guy that you think of. Like I'm not like my dad would be, which my dad's cool, but he's like the complete opposite of me. He's like the stereotypical guy.
Okay.
So that's
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think most men would probably be out of like the stereotypical idea. They just probably haven't gotten to a place within themselves and their mental health to be able to express that.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah, like
okay, so like the masking kind of like
yeah,
hides all
like
that.
I think a huge part of my life, a person who's played a huge part of who I am is my dad. I've mentioned this before that I'm Hispanic, and there's a certain culture of like, especially with like Hispanic men and how they need to be. It's very like emphasized, and like when you hear like the boys don't cry, that's actually something that is said to them. Like it's very, very specific. So when people see my dad, they see this like hardworking man who's tough and whatever. But the chances that I've had with him to be able to open up on emotional things, that like trauma and stuff, you kind of peel back all the layers of like the stereotype and like the facade, and you see who they really are, and you get to know them more as a like who they are as a man, as a person, instead of just seeing like the stereotype. Because I feel like the stereotype is more of a facade, like a physical like appearance that you put on. But once you peel back and see that, you see who they really are.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, it goes with what the author said about the like our true nature is what you kind of described as like your dad was being honest, and that's like our true nature. But maybe you don't looking from the outside, you don't think of it. You just think like, oh, this guy looks like they're like the ideal thing.
I also think that, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I need to say this before I can, like, yeah. I think also, like, your background or, like, the environment or the situations that you've gone through have a lot to do with it.
Okay.
Like, going back to what I was saying about my dad, like, to give you a bit of context about him, he was one of the first people in my family to immigrate to the United States. So, being that and being first gen here and all of that, it creates like a responsibility that you have to be tough and to be like the one that keeps the family together and the siblings together, and they can be upset, but he has to like look out for what's best and work and help support the family and do this and do that. So it's like the emotional part of it, that's not like, they don't pay attention to that. It's like, I have to do this, these are my responsibilities as a man in the family, and that emotional, I can't take care of that right now.
Yeah.
So I think that probably has a lot to do with, that was his mindset in the moment.
Okay.
Of
So it's like underlying reasons.
yeah,
for
so
that.
maybe that has a lot to do with like
Yeah.
the ability to be open about the emotional side. I don't know. That's from my own experience.
Sam.
Thank you for sharing, Angie. I just want you to know that even though you're not a male, your perspective is very valued here.
Yeah,
This is
seriously.
something we
Seriously.
discussed
Yeah.
I know this
before
is
the
called
podcast, and that was really beautiful.
Thank
And you
you.
talked about your culture and how it impacted, and if anything, I think your perspective might even be more valuable
Oh.
because you have an outsider's look.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to take a minute to challenge this panel and all of our listeners at home to reflect here for a second. So look at your relationships that you have currently in your life right now. Are they allowing you to grow, or do you feel like you have to put up masks when you're around them? And I don't think we did this as background. I am going to list all 9 of the masks.
I
And
don't
you can
the
think
mask.
about if
This is really good.
these
Yeah,
are going to, if they're prevalent in your relationships, and just take a minute to reflect. And if at any point when I list one of these masks, someone on the panel can relate, you guys can jump in. So the first one, we've already talked about this. This is the stoic mask. Every man must be invulnerable and tough. Emotions must be suppressed. No crying, no fuming. A wall is put up to protect him from the world. Weakness is an invitation for scrutiny, judgment, and rejection. I see a lot of people flexing their muscles around the panel right now. So yeah, I'm just going to give 10 seconds for our listeners at home to reflect. And then if any of you guys have any thoughts on the stoic mask, feel free to share them. And we can just kind of go one by one here. So,
That's good.
You like
oh my
that?
gosh,
Really good.
yes.
Yeah.
It's really good.
all right. So does anyone have anything to say about the stoic mask right now?
First of all, okay, so before I went to therapy, I think that like described my life. Is just to like kind of hide that part of myself. I wasn't able to like show that I had problems, and I didn't know like that I could show that. So I would just kind of like have that like the stoic mask. But it's good to have like language to it. It's like, oh, this is what this is. Like it's good to have that language.
Yeah.
So, good.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'll go. About the stoic. God dang it. About the stoic mask. What? I feel like we talked about this before. I think I mentioned this before. It was like after my relationship, it's like all your friends. It's like you see stuff. You're just like go to the gym. You gotta be like not like be like a man about it. Well, I think I mentioned that before. Like that's what my stepdad said. After like
Yeah,
a
you
week,
mentioned
after
that.
like a week, he was like, okay, well that's fine. And it's a little longer than that. But like, I feel like me and Alex talked about this before in the sense that like, I don't know, just going to the gym. It's
Yeah.
great. And then that's not really like it's not. I don't know if it's like a stoic mask, like a be a man thing, but it's like
I don't think
associated
it's,
like, well,
I don't know. I think what your dad said is like kind of relates to the stoic mask because it's like okay, you shouldn't like this like showing this like sort of emotional vulnerability. You should be over this by now, and you should like kind of brush past this.
Well,
it's kind of like the stoic mask.
Here's the thing: the gym can be healing. However,
Yeah, because the gym is like a good thing.
yes, but like I think when it comes to stoic mask, it's like every man needs to be.
that's what I was trying to. That's what I was
Oh,
trying to
that's
get
what
to.
you
That's what I was
get.
trying to get to.
Oh,
Yeah,
I wasn't-
I
I
got what
didn't know
Dimitri
what
I
was
was
saying.
trying. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Like, do you mean
Yeah.
like when like people have to be huge to be a man?
That's
Like,
what I
you
was
gotta
trying to
have
get to.
muscle.
Yeah.
Dude, I just want to say,
That's
bro,
another
bro
thing.
I'm
I'm
noticing
not,
the
like-
progress. I'm noticing the progress.
I'm not huge. I'm like,
I think that also probably has to do with like avoidance, because it's like go to the gym to like forget about that, but it's like you can go to the gym but also like address your emotional state.
Yes.
Like go through what you need to go through emotionally, but go to the gym. I mean that's great, but
here's a
also
cook and
Like the
sit
gym
there.
is a good,
Make sure-
at least to me, like
it's
the,
a good like
yeah,
therapeutic.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what.
I also think like the stoic mask is probably not the most common, but the most like
Top.
the top one that
That's how
I
feel.
like, correct me if I'm wrong, but probably the one that most men feel the need to put on, because you can see it. Like, oh, he's crying, he's sad, he's depressed. You can see it many times.
Yeah.
So it's more on wanting to hide that, because I imagine that there's probably emotional masks too, and that you don't always reveal that, and you can hide it within yourself. But a stoic mask can like go into your physical appearance, like, oh, he looks sad, he looks upset. So I
Yes.
don't know.
You guys are cooking today.
Right?
Triggering to say that.
Anyone else want to add anything about this mask? Kenny, perhaps?
Covered.
I feel like you guys mostly covered it.
All right.
Yeah, you guys did a really good job covering that mask. Very valuable insight there. I'm going to move on to the second mask, which we also kind of covered. That was kind of like a twofold thing there.
Yeah.
So the second mask is the athlete mask.
So,
I can't really. Okay, got it.
Is how a man distinguishes himself on the field or on the court. He is a modern-day gladiator whose weapon isn't death, but domination. And it has the main way to get rid of this mask and shed this mask as have balance. It can be healthy to go to the gym, like we just talked about. You just have to have balance and be able to support yourself, and comparison is going to be the thief of joy. So I think it's very difficult with social media right now. You always see someone who's jacked, like within like the first minute of being on your feed. You see people that are very fit because that's what the Instagram or Snapchat algorithm is going to promote. But you need to realize and have a positive self-image with that, and realize those are outliers.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to talk about the athletic mask or their experiences growing up with sports, we have a very overeager Alex over there, so
Yeah,
I'll
sorry.
let him start
You guys
off.
can't see this, but I am jumping up and down right now. Because, yeah, I see this all the time on my Instagram, and I look this up all the time. And the gym, it's like anything. Too much of anything is a bad thing. That's like the overall, like too much of anything is bad. So that also goes to the gym as well. As a guy who goes to the gym all the time, that is definitely a thing. What do you guys think?
So I don't relate to that because I'm not like an athlete. So yeah.
Okay. Demetri?
So you were saying, well, like you're talking about like looking up things and like seeing
Yeah.
people, and you're like you think like Tom Platch, you're like, I want legs like that.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
I will say there's like, for like, not like the way they look, but it's like the things that they say.
mm-hmm.
And like I understand like they've used like everything in the book to get to that point, but okay, I feel like I hate people that say that at the same time though, because like yeah, they did use stuff, but it's like, hey, he had to work for it at the same time. It's like because if you just take it and do nothing, you're not gonna like grow. Yeah, you still gotta.
that is true.
Still gotta
yes.
grow. So it's like, yeah, I feel like to an extent, like, I don't know, because it's like, I won't say it's really a because like I do like I think we just talked about this, comparing ourselves to other people,
Yeah.
but it's like I've never compared myself to them. I've told myself like,
Yeah.
I just want to get stronger. I don't want to be like a freaking a boulder. They're
Yeah.
boulders, bro. I don't want to be like a freaking boulder. It's just like I just want to like get like 10, 15 pounds of muscle.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like
There's some insane people on there. No?
yeah.
I'll let you guys finish cooking.
No, I mean, what do you think? I
Don't
mean,
burn it.
I think the thing is, it's like,
There is motivational, like what they say.
oh yeah, that's true. But I think like the difficult thing, at least for me, is like you look it up and there's so many different ways of doing it, right?
Yeah.
But some work and some don't, which is the problem. It's like it's not a straight path
Yeah.
when it comes to what you want.
It's all different. Like it's all about just like finding like what works for
Exactly,
you.
like what works for you and like what doesn't work, because there's like you see a video on how to get abs, but then there's like a debunk video saying, oh, that video is wrong, you shouldn't do this.
Dude, abs is like a lot of diet.
Diet's, oh my god, diet is like the thing where like I saw this one influencer. He's like, if you want to get fit, you got to eat this instead of this, or you got to like
Wow.
do this strategy instead of this strategy.
I don't know what's going on.
Sorry,
However,
Not like
but
an
then
we might be on a tangent right now. I don't
Yeah.
know.
true, but I'll get it done in a minute. But
You're
then
good.
you
No,
see-
you're good. You're good. I like it.
But then you see like
Weird.
this debunk video of that video, and then it's like, well, so what's real then? You know?
It's contradicting.
So what's real then?
Angie.
Yeah, so I had a
Sorry.
quick question for you. So I know you're a reader. Do you find that often you use, because I've done this before, do you find that often you use literature and fantasy and all of that to kind of get into when you're or if you have in the past, to get into when you've been going through a difficult like emotional situation in order to escape from
I would say
reality?
more so in the past than now. Now it's like it's more like just sorry. Now it's more like a collection. It's like a hobby of mine, just like book collecting and just reading. It's like before. I don't know. I would say like in regards to escapism, I used to be on TikTok like my. This is like in 2019. Like this is like years ago. I used to use it to like escape like my depressive reality. So it was like I use that, not more so that than like books. I didn't use like books. But what's like the next thing? I'm like excited.
Yeah, that's 3.
Oh, you have
Oh,
something
Katie
to
wants
say?
to. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, bro.
So for like being an athlete, I would say, hey, that there's more to being an athlete than just like being athletic. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And like, there's skill in there. Like, I feel like it's for men and to like, rather than for just being like. So okay, I think I'm rambling here. So
There you
what
go.
I'm trying to say here is being an athlete, men, and I feel like they want to show off in that. I'm not saying that in regards towards any athletes out there. I'm not saying that it's just like for being an athlete
Like
they want to
sometimes they could,
like
hide
push
behind that,
themselves.
Yeah.
Like I said before,
Yeah,
or
that's good.
like we want to push ourselves to our limits, and being an athlete does that.
Sounds good.
Anyone else have any other things to share on the athlete's mask?
I don't have.
Me?
I don't have that. We can, like,
Yeah, I mean, you were pumped up before.
I mean,
I'm
I'm kinda done my rant,
minutes,
but-
so
Yeah,
we
let's
have,
do-
like,
I
do
think
it.
that was
10
good that you were
minutes.
able to release there.
Yeah.
So the third mask is the material mask.
Okay, this is mine.
Wait, he needs to explain it.
Worth comes from money in the bank account. A man's net worth becomes his self-worth. You're
So-
always chasing that material high, and it says the main way to debunk it is acknowledging daily what you're grateful in others.
So this is me. So in high school, so I like fashion, but I think sometimes I could use it to hide behind that like mask of like, oh, I'm getting validation. This is how I get validation from how people say like, oh, you look nice. So you can become addicted to that validation. Now I'm not saying that's like always the case, but sometimes like that's like a thing that I'm passionate about. Like I like fashion. I like that. That's what I'm passionate about. But I think sometimes we could use it as a way to like hide behind like our insecurities, especially like about like my body. You might like hide behind that. So like that's why like you're getting affirmed by other men by like having like a certain number of shoes. I used to be like kind of like that in high school. Like I would feel bad that I didn't have like the right type of shoes. But now it's like it's more about getting more content with yourself and not being so much about like the objects and material things. So that's all. That's it.
Yeah, so I really liked everything that you said. I really like the part about fashion, the part about shoes, the part about being content. That word right there, content, that is what really stuck out to me. There are things that we all want, things that we all need, things that we feel will make us like someone else, things that will make us happy. But is it really making us happy though? Yeah, so that's something that we all need to think about. Like everybody that's listening right now, that's something you should think about. Like before you ask your parents for something, think about, is that something you need or is that something that you want? Is that something that's gonna make you feel good or is that something that's just gonna make you feel like someone else? Yeah, so we need to really think about things that are beneficial for us. Not in a way that we want, but in a way that we need, sort of. You know what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah, I got you,
That's
Kenny.
good.
Yeah.
All right. I got nothing else to add for that, but what do you think?
So would you say that that's connected to greediness?
It can be,
It
but
can
like for me, I wouldn't like necessarily say greediness. I would say sometimes like it would just be like more like an insecurity thing. Like I'm doing this because it is more like subconscious. Like you see people validating you for like what you wear, and then you're just like you go to that because you see that as a source of validation, and it's like, oh, look at all this stuff I have. This is how I get validated. I might not be like an athlete, but like look at all this stuff I have. So it's more of like that, gosh, really, this like I'm glad we have 2 days because I'm like we're getting into this like.
Yeah, a little bit.
So, yeah.
And I will send the link to this website that I'm reading some of this information off of. I won't be here tomorrow, but if we can only do 5 or so, maybe part 2 could be the other 4.
I was kind of thinking that. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll have way more time anyway.
Yeah.
And an offshoot of materialism has become the rise of minimalism, which is a very new thing that many people are turning to. And that can be a good way to have a healthy release from all the things that we have. So,
I like minimalism.
Minimalism is great. Mask number 4 is the sexual mask.
Oh, this about to get
A man is defined by his number of sexual conquests. It validates him. Relationships are for quitters and settlers. This has led to many terms like trophy wives, modern day hookup culture. You see on a lot of dating apps, it's just about finding the most attractive girl and getting her. It becomes almost like a game in a sense. And we are on a college campus where we get to watch this a lot of times unfold in front of our eyes. And it can be very dangerous for people's mental health. And it says, shedding the sexual mask, learning to be open, learning that opening up, being expressive, and caring allows for even better intimacy, emotional and sexual. So you need to get to know people on an emotional level to shed this mask.
I think that's why, and I witnessed this more so in high school is, like people would just say, "Oh, I watched like all this," like they would make it like kind of like a prideful thing. Like I have all these like girls. I watch all like. This like pornography was like a huge thing in high school, and they were like.
This is now a PG-13 podcast, by the way.
Well, and it's like we'll have
Scenes
a trigger.
may be too intense
We'll
or
have like
inappropriate for younger viewers.
I usually put in like in the description like things and that.
Trigger
But
warning.
yeah, I usually sometimes I put this, but I think we're kind of like almost out of time, but
Oh no.
yeah.
We can finish up with this mask. And
There's
then
nobody here.
recap.
Yeah.
There's nobody here yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wait.
It's okay.
See, but like, I kind of like this topic because we were just talking about this in a normal psych about our teacher, and that's why I was enjoying it so much because like, I mean I don't want to assume like we were fine, but it was like I could tell like other people were just like really shocked about it because it's like talking about stuff like this because like okay, for context because if people don't know if people don't know what we're talking about, our normal psychology teacher, professor, also our social psychology teacher, she's like a sex therapist.
Yeah.
And she is like very and like that was like our it's very interesting. It is really interesting, but it's like I was chapter 10. It was about this kind of stuff, like everything about it, and she was like very into it, and she was like, but I liked it though, cause like she would like literally she has like no filter, and it was like, but it made us think like
It was refreshing.
it was in the sense that like we like, our whole society is like very uncomfortable talking about it,
Yeah.
and it's like similar
But
like
the way that we talk about it is like, oh, I had like what? I don't know how people do it. It's like, oh, I had 5 hookups or whatever. I don't know the hookup culture.
I don't either.
Me neither,
I couldn't
like,
I couldn't tell
hate
you.
Just like-
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's a weird culture.
It was more so in high school. I would hear people
No,
like,
no, it's the way it's just as bad.
I don't
in
know.
college.
about
It's just as bad in
college.
college. It's just as bad in college.
I don't know. It's like, it's just like, oh, I had this.
It was bad in
Or
high school,
what
yeah.
what the author describes as locker room talk, where you had all these like mini sexual encounters,
Oh,
and
I can.
okay, so it's it's kind of like deals with that, and really what like Sam says is really a lack of emotional intimacy that we have in our lives, and we feel like we're using this mask to get that. We're trying to like get that validation, but that's not our true selves.
I feel like talking about this, and this is like part of the reason why I deleted social media, is just like, I guess like the fakeness of it, and the fact that like you'll see like certain things that like anyone posts, and they'll only post themselves like not like explicitly, but like kind of, and it's just kind of like I feel like they're just doing it for validation, and you see that a lot. You see it like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's very distracting seeing that. Not distracting, but it's more like, oh wow, they're just like doing all of this.
Okay, we gotta like kind of. I think you wanted to say something. We had to like
Oh,
close
yeah, I'm
off.
I will not have enough time. It's fine.
Okay, well we can like
Next
continue
time.
that like
Yeah.
tomorrow.
We'll
yeah.
continue in part number 2.
Part 2.
Yeah.
Miller will come.
So anyone got any
Sorry,
other
Miller.
final things real quick?
Yeah, thanks guys for having me for another Monday. Hopefully I'll be back again next week, and this has been a very great discussion.
Yeah.
I think we all
Thank you for bringing it up.
I was super
Yeah.
scared of
Absolutely.
this discussion.
It was really structured, but it was structured in a good way. And
Yeah.
so I hope that this was valuable for the listeners, and everyone is starting to evaluate the relationships that they have in their own personal lives.
Yeah.
It's been great being back here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
I'm
you.
Thank you, Sam, and
I'm
thank you,
excited to
Kenny.
see like the website, like
Mhm.
the stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm excited to hear about your meeting with the offer too. That's pretty big news.
On Friday.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's really good. That's really good.
What?
Anyways, thanks for being so welcoming to my opinion, even though it may not always directly have anything to do with me. And then also thanks, Sam, for looking up those specific masks, because that really helps us delve into the topic more.
Yeah, seriously, thank
Absolutely.
you, bro.
Yeah.
All right.
Until next time.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Bye.
That is the end of this episode. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram
Bye.
at Men's Couch. And also, yes, tune in every Monday and Tuesday. Monday and Tuesdays at 6. All right. We'll see y'all next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.